One, what's up, mi gente? Let's get to this video. So far, this will be my most up-to-date video that I've done through this series of Open Forum. And that is because today is Sunday and yesterday, Saturday, I'm just going to speak from my heart because this is a real fresh topic and I don't know what else to do, you know? Like, I want to just open up and explain what happened, and this is a moment in my life that I know that I will look back in the future and I will say, oh, when this happened, it changed the way I see life. And that is because yesterday, give you a quick background, there is still a video that I'm going to be dropping soon where I'm going to update you guys on everything that's happened since January to June. But this, was unexpected. I am living back with my parents for the time being. And, by the grace of God, thank God I was home yesterday because my dad was here. It was only him and I. And he was outside doing his, regular garden work, whatever he was doing outside, and comes in. My dad's a jokester. Comes in, starts talking about, that he's in pain, he feels bad. He's like, I'm siento mal. That's like, one thing that we all say, like, estamos mal. But he came in and he rushed into the restroom, started throwing up, and next thing I know, he's like cold and he's like laying on the floor. And I'm like, man, what's wrong? I'm like, are you dehydrated? Like, what's going on? He's like, no. He's like, this fucking pain is back. I'm like, pain again? And I'm just like, what? I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, what do I do? Call my sister, tell her what's going on. She's like, well, you gotta take him. So I ask him, like, how is he doing? He's horrible. He's Jerry, please. He wants to tell his part of the story, which, I mean, both the dogs were here, so. But, Jerry. So, yeah. Then, like I said, I'm literally just shooting 12 minutes of this. Like, it's unedited. Like, I'm literally speaking from the heart. And it's crazy because, so, I gave him some Gatorade. It like helped him. I thought what was dehydration. I was like, all right, let's still go to the hospital. What worried me was that the moment he was like, oh, my chest is hurting, and he's like, I can't feel anything from like my wrist up to my chest. That was the red flag in my head where I was like, yo, we just gotta go. I was like, are you sure? I was like, do you want to go? He's like, yeah. I was like, let's go. I changed and we got out the door, took him to the hospital, and we got there. He was sweating profusely, and we get to the ER. I tell him like, yo, I was just here literally a month ago, because he had somewhat of the same thing, but it was more like towards the stomach. And I'm like, 26-year-old, my dad's 64, he'll be, God willing, he'll be 64 coming in November. So I'm just like, I tell him like, yo, like, is there anything you guys can do? So like, yeah, we'll take him to the back. But because everything going on, I couldn't go back there. So I'm sitting in the ER room and, I start getting uncomfortable. So I go, I give him like a half an hour window. I go, I ask the security guard, like, yo, can I go back there with my dad? I call him. He's like, yo, they just took out blood from me. I'm okay. He's like, why don't you just come back later? He's like, that's what you want to do. And I was feeling uncomfortable because, I'm in an ER room with a bunch of people and I hear some guys start coughing. I'm like, I can't be here, just for my own safety. So I get out the door, I leave, and then I give it like an hour or two. And then I call him once, he doesn't pick up. I call him twice, he doesn't pick up. And I had this intuition, and I don't know if this is from what, family or something, but I had this intuition. I was like, I got to go back. So I go back, same security guard. I'm like, hey, is there a way I can go back there and see my dad? He's like, yeah, let me see. Calls back there. He's like, well, he's not here. They took him somewhere. So we went somewhere. He was supposed to, like, he took me to this place where it said, like, something about the heart and like same day surgery. I'm like, same day surgery. Okay, whatever. So we go back down. He's not there. And then they're calling around the hospital, like the different sections. And they're like, the guy's like, yeah, he's in floor 2 in this tally, blah, blah, blah. And then I hear him say ICU. I'm like, ICU? I'm like, okay, I've been in ICU once. I fell on my head from a skateboard accident. And I know what the ICU is. And I was like, okay, it's not good. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, like what happened? He's like, I can't tell you because I don't know. So he takes me up to the ICU room. I go up there. I go in there. I see him, he's all wired up and everything. And then the nurse and, the doctor comes in and they break the news to me that, my dad, couple hours, like an hour after or so that I took him in, he had a heart attack. And this was literally maybe 24 hours ago that I was at the hospital when I was getting this news. So, my mom's there now and everything. So like, I was there the whole day, and, today, because of this whole COVID thing, only one person can be there. So obviously, my mom wanted to be there, next to my dad, her husband, for for like, they've been married. I want to say they've been married for 30 years. So, she's there now watching. I keep calling. And yeah, man, it's receiving that news yesterday. It was like, and I knew like this was I had this whole thing scheduled. Like this video was going to be something else, obviously. And, I was going to record 5 videos today. And, this happened and this was the last thing on my mind. But today I'm literally just left alone home. And I'm like, I don't know what else to do. This is crazy, So I'm like, tomorrow, I'm going back tomorrow. I'm gonna be there with him all day. Hopefully they take him back to a regular room and all that happens. But I was just like, what else can I do? Like, I don't know. I was kind of going a little, crazy because it's like, it's literally me, myself, and I, and this is the crazy thing why I say family over everything. And that's because I didn't choose to be born into this family. I didn't have the choice to be born at all. But I'm here now, and I'm 26 years, and that's my dad, and this is my family, and it's, it just shows you, like, who's really there for you at the end of the day. And I understand that one day I will be able to make my own family and, create, hopefully, a mini me, a little junior. And it just goes to show you that, like, man, like, you just gotta appreciate those moments, that you have. Like yesterday, we were supposed to have like a family little gathering, like little barbecue, but that was canceled because obviously of what happened. And to me, it's just like, the amounts of people that have called, that have reached out. Like I was surprised because I was like, yo, like, I cannot believe the amount of support. But then, like I said, like, I don't know. It's just crazy because, like, even as animals, like my dog, like, obviously my dad was, spent the night at the hospital. He'll be there for the next few days. And, like, even the dog knows. Like, I mean, this little guy is like 14 years now. He's been with us, and he, like, senses something's wrong, And I was just like, it's crazy to see animals, they even know when things are going on and stuff. And yeah, man, it's just tough. Like, just hearing those words from that nurse, like, yo, like, do you, like, the first thing they're like, oh, do you know what happens? I was like, no. They're like, did you bring him out? I was like, yeah, I brought him out earlier. And they're like, whoa, your dad. Like, that just keeps, like, right now, that just keeps replaying in my head. And I'm not gonna lie, that shit is, like, it's fucking messing with me, because I'm like, okay, like, what's next, And I'm just obviously hoping for the best. And it's crazy, man. Like, you don't get to you get to make your family, but you don't get to choose your family, if that makes any sense. Like, you make a family, well, in a way you get to choose who you want to be to start your family with. And I just remember, like, there was this one time, not a few years back, like I was seeing somebody and they had told me, like, and this was like fresh. Literally had just met the girl and she was like, oh, I'm going to the hospital. And it was something about her mom. And I got there to the ER. I pulled up and, I didn't even know this girl like that well. And I just pulled up, I snuck myself in. And I was like, yeah, I'm here to see my mother-in-law, like, and they took me in and I was there and I spent the time there. And I'm just like, man, like, it just shows you what type of people or the type of person that you are. And it sucked that yesterday, like, I get it, the whole COVID thing's going on, but like, yo, like you realize like who you really have in your corner. And yesterday I didn't have nobody. It was just literally me and, the OG and the freaking nurse that was just there talking to me and like through it and trying to calm me down. And it's like, it's crazy how life works, and it's crazy how, like, I don't know. I really didn't want to make this video, but I'm telling you, and I'm telling myself in the future that because of what happened yesterday, moving on from yesterday, today, and moving on, like, life is being lived differently. And that's just a fact. And thank God my dad is fine. I hope for him for a speedy recovery. I appreciate everybody who did reach out to me and, shot me a text, shot me a message, like, yo, like, that means a lot, because nobody to them, but for them to worry and to be there, just, I appreciate it, With all that being said, I'll see you in the next video.